Greetings fellow traders, this is Max and welcome to my Sunday market analysis where I'm going to analyze the market and share with you my top trades for the upcoming week. And as you can see, this week I have many pairs on my list. I think it's been a really long time since I have had that many pairs on my watch list for the upcoming week, but this week is going to be really interesting and really exciting. I found really cool and interesting pairs, and what you can see here, I've even started using a new color, which is the blue color here, to mark pairs from last week where I still have a running trade on. So on CAD GPY there's going to be a short trade update, and for USDJPY there's going to be a short trade update on my running trade, which I shared in my free Telegram channel. And stay tuned until the end of the video for a brief recap of last week's pairs that didn't make it into this week's selection. For example, EURCHF and EURGBP and NZD-CAD. So without further ado, let's start here with the pair AUDUSD. And I'm going to start on the weekly chart here. I'm looking for a potential long position. We can see we've had this weekly head and shoulders pattern forming here, but this was a failed neckline break, and the potential retest of this neckline did not happen. The price just continued to the upside. It was just a liquidity grab. Now price seems to violently continue to the upside, which I want to take advantage of. So we've had a round psychological level here, the 0.66 round psychological level, and an area of interest where the price has reacted to. It was once support, then resistance, and now I hope it will turn into support again. So I'm going to wait for price to come back into the area, sweep some liquidity below the area of interest and the round psychological level, so that I can then enter on the lower time frame with a shift of structure a long position and enter this long position, then profit off of a potential price continuation to the upside. Of course, it's possible that the price is just going to violently reverse, maybe back into this zone here. If that happens, I'm just going to skip that trade, but I believe it will take some more days until the price is back in this area here. So this is going to be the area I'm focusing on. I've set a price alarm, and if the price is coming down into the area again and completing this entire uptrend we are currently in here in the weekly chart and since the beginning of this year, then I am interested in opening a position. So that's the plan for AUDUSD. Now let's go straight to EURAUD. So in EURAUD, I'm actually looking for a short position here. So we can see that the price is creating new lows here, and we have lower highs on this big weekly structure, and now we've broken this area of interest and round psychological level, the 1.76 round psychological level. So it's important to be a little careful now and a little patient, because while the daily chart is looking really beautiful, we have a left shoulder, a head, and a really big right shoulder here. Now we broke the neckline, and now I'm waiting for the retest of this neckline. On the weekly chart, while I do not use trend lines, however, on the weekly chart, you can pretty much see a clear structure that looks like a channel. And now we are almost at the bottom of this channel, so maybe the price is actually going to reverse at this channel again, and maybe it's going to hit the channel first, then reverse back into the zone, have the retest, and then continue to the downside, which might take a couple more weeks, and it's not going to happen in the coming week. But if the price is coming back into the zone here and it's giving me the price action and the movement and structure that I'm looking for, and it's indicating a clean short entry, then I'm going to open the short position here on EURAUD. Actually really beautiful head and shoulders pattern, and that would be a really beautiful neckline break. Maybe a couple days it will go down, then a couple days it will take for the retest, so maybe the entry is not going to be there in the coming week. But as I said, if it's coming back and on a lower time frame I have the appropriate structure to open a short position, then I'm going to take it. Let's go to the next pair, EURCAD. And on EURCAD I'm also looking for a short position. You see that a lot of euro pairs are shifting the structure here a bit. It's been in an uptrend for quite some time now, and it looks like it's really time for it to have a bigger correction, and it looks like this time could be now. So we have this kind of distribution here. It has been moving sideways, the euro price, and especially on EURCAD, and it can also be a head and shoulders pattern, which is a bearish sign. We have the left shoulder, the head, and a right shoulder, and we have the neckline, and I broke the neckline, and now I'm waiting for price to come back into the zone, retest, maybe reject the 50 EMA even for some extra confluence, sweep the liquidity above the 1.62 round psychological level and area of interest, and then show me the bearish structure so that I can then open a short position here on EURCAD and profit off of a falling price, maybe back down down into this zone here, which could be the 1.595 round psychological level, or even 1.59 as the ultimate first target, giving me probably a 1 to 3 risk reward ratio or something, or maybe even more. So you can see there has been almost minus 1% move in a day. So this is really violent. I actually expect price to have some kind of correction down into the zone, or up into the zone in this case, but I will be patient and I will see how the price is reacting to that in the coming days. Now let's go to the next pair, which is GBPCHF. And the CHF pairs have been on my list for some time now, because the monthly charts are indicating that we might have a bigger correction to the upside now in the coming months, and at least that this is what I read from the charts. Of course, it can just go lower, like the chart is never a 100% confirmation that something is going to happen. If it was that easy, then trading wouldn't be as hard to master as it is right now, right? So what I'm waiting for is for price now, after it broke above this 1.065 around psychological level here. I'm waiting for it to come back into this level, which has been support several times. It did not turn into resistance so far. So I'm waiting for price to come back into that zone and maybe sweep some more liquidity and then show me some more bullish price action here, some bullish structure, so that I can open a long position here and profit off of a bigger correction on GBPCHF. Because for many months and even years, you can see it's been in a major downtrend, but it took some time to create new lows here, okay? And every now and then it even came back into the 50 EMA here on a monthly chart. And that has not really happened recently. I mean, it got close here, right? But now it is very far away again, and maybe it's going to even test this as dynamic resistance again. So I just want to profit off of that potential move to the upside, which is why I'm looking for the long position here. And structure wise, it's looking like this was a bigger liquidity sweep to the downside, and now it's reversing. So now break and retest trade, and then potential long entry. So let's go to already the last pair of the main pairs for the coming week, which is USDJPY, and it's another long position. At first glance, you can see clear uptrend, higher highs, higher lows. So this is all looking really good. For me, this price action here looks like a failed evening star formation, which I interpret as a rather bullish sign, of course, depending on the context. It looks like it tried to form an evening star, which is usually considered a bearish candlestick pattern. But in this case, it's not really a really good evening star candlestick pattern. And on the daily chart, you can even see it has reacted and swept the liquidity twice below this 155 round psychological level and the area of interest. It has been resistance and now seems to be turning into support here. And for me to get the best entry, I'm now waiting for price to just have a tiny push down into the area again, maybe sweep some liquidity again as part of the beginning of the new week. And what did I do now? No, I did not want to do this. 1 second. I actually wanted to set a price alarm like this. Okay, so I'm waiting for price to have another retracement here and then another bullish formation as a higher low, so that I can then open a long position on USDJPY and profit off of a further continuation to the upside. Because even on the monthly chart, you can see this looks like the break, and now this has been the monthly retest. It's not quite the middle of December, but of course still some weeks to go. And this looks like this could have been the week down of the new monthly candlestick forming, and maybe December will close really, really green and really bullish, and I can profit off of that move to the upside. If it's of course giving me the chance to enter. I do not want to enter prior to London session, which is why I am going to wait for Monday. But also I'm currently still in 2 really nice running trades, which limit my capital to a certain extent, so I will not be able to enter open a really big position on USDJPY as I would do usually. But speaking of the running trades, let's actually have a look at my 2 running trades. So I have opened a long position last week on CAD/JPY, and as a reminder, I shared all those trades entries in my free Telegram channel, which you can join at any time. I will put the link to it into the video description. So the plan here was, it had a break above the round psychological level 111, and now it had a retracement, and I actually got stopped out once here, and then I saw that this daily candlestick, I believe this was even the one that stopped me out, that this closed really, really neutrally. And then on Friday, actually, I opened the new long position because I saw, okay, this looks really still bullish, and the price action here was really, really good. You can see see that it's closed as a beautiful morning star formation, which is why I opened a long position again, and after that it just had a major push to the upside, and I'm still holding that position, and my first profit target is definitely going to be the area up here, the 113 round psychological level, and this is giving me a really solid risk reward ratio. It would even complete this upper trend line here, which is an absolute match. So I can expect some dynamic resistance around this area. If it takes a couple days, then as I said, this looks like this will definitely be the first resistance, and which is where I'm going to close the trade and take the profits. But so far the price is moving into my direction. My stop loss last time was just really tight, or my entry was not ideal. Of course, sometimes the price is just going to take some more time and it's going to range a bit more than you'd like, so then a stop out can happen. That's an update for my CAD JPY trade. So let's have a look at the NZD JPY trade. The NZD JPY has been ranging a little more. I have entered around this zone here, a little lower, which was more like, yeah, I believe it was pretty much around this candlestick here, which was then my entry signal. And as you can see, it took some time and days to actually continue to the upside, but right now it looks really bullish, and I believe since there's also JPY in this pair, I can expect a continuation to the upside as the JPY seems to be getting a little weaker. Of course, the weekly chart is looking rather mixed for me. Maybe there's going to be a bigger retracement down into the area. We don't know yet, but I will keep an eye on this pair and on my trade, of course, and update you regularly in my Telegram channel. And that's already it with the pairs for the upcoming week. Now let's have a look at some pairs from last week and see how they have performed. For example, EURCHF. So on EURCHF, the plan was to wait for price to have a bigger retracement down into the zone here and give me a higher low to open a long position and profit off of a continuation to the upside. So you can see here that there has been just a small retracement, but I wanted it to be a little further down for a better entry. It did not give me that entry, so it just continued to the upside without me having the chance to open a long position, which is why I skipped this trade. Otherwise, I would have to put the stop loss quite far down, which is not ideal for the risk reward ratio. So I just skipped this trade for now. But as you can see, it looks like it is continuing to the upside. There could even be a new entry. You can see the round psychological level and the area of interest here, so maybe a break and retest trade in the future is possible. I will see how this pair is going to develop in the coming week. Now let's have a look at the pair EURO-GBP. And on EURO-GBP, I was looking for a potential long entry. Technically, this long entry could still be possible. Since the candle below the round psychological level and area of interest closed quite neutrally, this could indicate some kind of liquidity grab, and maybe there's going to be a small break and retest above the zone here, and then the price continue to the upside. However, looking at the weekly chart, I do not think that this chance is quite high, and I've selected some better pairs for my trading strategy in the current list, so I would just skip this trade for now and just see how the pair is going to move in the near future. Right now it looks like there could be a bigger correction to the downside, but maybe it will continue to the upside. And the final pair is NZD CAD, and NZD CAD was presenting me a potential long entry. I wanted to have a nice liquidity sweep and correction to the downside that I then could open a long position, and I wanted to have a small liquidity sweep below the area again as it did here. There has been a peak into the zone, so this could have been the entry, but if I remember correctly, that was the time where I already was in a trade, and if I wanted to enter right around this area, then I mean technically the stop loss would have still be fine, but it was ranging so much that I wasn't really sure whether I should take the long entry. So maybe I would have taken that trade. As you can see right now, it would have been a stop loss, so it's good that I skipped it. Sometimes you get lucky with those trades, and it continued a bit to the upside, not quite into the zone where I would have liked the price to be, and right now it looks like this could continue to the downside now. And that's already it for this week's Sunday market analysis. I have analyzed the other pairs too, but I did not find any great trades so far. I'll set price alarms, and if any of those alarms is getting triggered, I will have a look at the respective pair again and see if I can find some additional good trades for the upcoming week. If you want to get notified whenever that happens, or if you want to receive regular trade updates on my running trades and want to see whenever I open or close a position, then you can just join my free Telegram channel. I will put the link to it into the video description. You will also find a link to my other socials there. If you have any questions, just let me know in the comments below and I will try to answer your questions. Thank you for watching. I wish you a successful trading week. Remember to manage your risk properly, and see you next Sunday.